Hello,
Back for
hello, good
another
evening,
wonderful Thursday.
happy Thursday. This is going to be a quick live tonight because we have a lot of getting ready to do for boot camp tomorrow.
I
Tomorrow
have
we're going to
things
be
to move and
doing
things to build, apparently.
it's going to be a dramatic demonstration here in the office all about rider position and the independent seat. So we have to rearrange the office and bring in our horse thing, and it's going to be an ordeal for tomorrow's boot camp.
Yeah.
But so far, boot camp has been going awesome. Hi, Hannah. I know a lot of you are probably on the Strides call because Nicole is hosting an awesome Train Your Eye session tonight, which was going really well, and I was learning. Were you listening into it?
I was.
It was good. It was really good because Nicole.
The judge's eye.
Yeah, Nicole is a licensed judge, and so it's always helpful to understand a little bit more about the judge's perspective and to train your eye to understand what you should be doing and what you should not
And
be
what
doing.
the judge is looking for and what's important and what's not important.
Yes. So far we've done 2 days of boot camp. We have 3 more days to go.
And by we, she means her. I'm only helping tomorrow.
Yes. But it has been really awesome. So the first day was about riding principles, my top 5 riding principles. And I use the analogy of a chart and a compass. So you're going to hold it up. Hold it up for everyone.
That is a chart.
It's a chart of the island.
Of the San Miguel Island out here on the Channel Island chain.
And what's the difference between a chart and a map?
Well, the chart gives you longitude and latitude. Map tells you how to drive there.
Okay, so if you have a chart and a compass,
you can get there.
Okay.
Well, you gotta account for tide and current.
Yeah, it's complicated. But basically, my premise of day 1 is that you need a destination, like you need a dream or something that you're going towards. So let us know in the chat, what is your riding dream? And then you need a compass, which are the training principles.
You're the compass.
To get you there.
You're gonna get it there.
No, oh yeah, I'm the compass, apparently.
You're the compass.
I don't know, that's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure.
Yes, but we are your guide to getting towards your dreams. There you go. Good job. Good work with the analogy.
Okay.
So let us know in the chat, what was your favorite principle from day 1? I did 5 of my top training principles, and I really sat down and went through and thought about what are the guiding things that I always come back to and that I use over and over again in my training and with my horses. Do you know any of the top 5 training principles I talked about?
I do not.
You haven't been paying any attention? Okay, what are some training principles that you live by? See if we're on the same page.
Beatings will continue until morale improves.
No, that's not a good one. That's negative.
It's funny.
Yeah, but I don't think we want to train our horses that way. Beating horses does not work. So that's not a good one.
Oh, look, they're helping me out. Simplicity, positivity.
Oh, okay. So tell us about why. Here's your first card. You can hold it up.
My first card. It says simplicity.
Why is simplicity important?
Although it's backwards. It's probably backwards for them. Why? Because that's what horses can understand.
And so what about riders? Whatever about the horses.
The riders? Yeah. God help them.
Wow, I hope that you're in a better mood tomorrow morning for our dramatic
I was
demonstration.
talking about the horses.
Okay,
but the same thing is true for the riders as the horses. If you overface them, if you make it too difficult, then they can't be successful. Then they have no confidence, and then it's just a downhill struggle after that.
So what are your tips for simplifying? Like if things are just going wrong, what do you do?
Well, within the same exercise, if you're explaining shoulder in, say, just try and deconstruct it, and you say this leg, this hand. And if that doesn't work, get to a leg yield. If that doesn't work, then we'll go at the walk and do head to the wall leg yield and get it to where the rider can start to feel inside leg, outside rein, the diagonalist, because you need that for the shoulder in. So if you're not feeling it in the shoulder in, do it in a more simple exercise so they can get the basic feeling.
So break down the movement into smaller components. My tips for simplification were take a breath, check your rider position, and focus on the rhythm, the base of the training scale. But yours is a much more complicated example of it. Okay. What's the next training principle?
What did you do? I'm looking because they're helping me out. Oh, the positivity.
Yes. There's your card.
Okay, positivity. It's
Why
still
is this
backwards.
important?
Well, you don't have the luxury of a negative thought
Why not?
because it's detrimental to the training for the horse and the rider. It's just not. It doesn't produce anything.
And what do you do when you start going down the negative thought train?
What for bad drivers?
Oh my gosh. No, you're supposed to have like a sagey solution.
I have to take a minute. I need to stop. If I'm completely derailed, I just go for a little walk and try and get back into when I'm absolutely totally just this is never going to work. Why am I here? And I need to die. I just take a minute. I go walk and then I come back at it new.
Yes. Okay.
I think the bad driver joke was funny though. Anybody
I think
get the bad?
you're scaring all the people. So
No, did anybody get scared or did anybody like the bad driver joke?
Betsy says you're on fire tonight.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm funny.
Here's our next principle. I don't think you abide by this one.
Groundwork. Here's the thing about the groundwork. I like it to the horse where it's relatively safe and up I go.
Yeah, but
you
can do so much with your horses on the ground. So since I haven't been able to ride after my surgery, well, I'm riding now, but for 6 weeks I couldn't ride. So after the first month, I started long lining Kensington every single day, and he's getting so good on his groundwork. I can do piaffe passage. I can do canter pirouettes on the long lines. Like you can do everything from the ground. And then I got on Kensington for the first time a few days ago, and he felt amazing. Like he was so supple and so soft, and I feel like I could go and show him the Prix St. George tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Groundwork is such a good skill, especially, let's face it, when you get old and scared. And you don't want to get on the horses that are crazy.
4-year-olds are in my rearview mirror. I can see that.
But it's also just not worth it. It's not worth it to have a bad experience with you and your horse.
Yeah, for the horse, for sure. The rider, again. But yeah, it's a setback for the horse. And apparently
Here's the next principle.
Messi's had a day.
Well,
the heat.
This is like good because I don't know if you guys remember when Messi was like destroying our office in the middle of the.
Do you want to show him the footboard he ate?
Yeah, no. Okay, next principle.
Clarity. Pirates. The beatings will continue until morale improves. We're pirates.
Clearly, we've been working way too hard today, this entire week, and our quarter is run out. Okay, what's the last principle?
Oh, consistency.
Yes.
And consistency is really, because it doesn't matter how I feel, what's going on, you just get up and you do it again the next day, and then you look back at 6 months and you go, man, I did it every day, and look at the progress. And it doesn't matter how I feel about it, I just do it.
Yes. And consistency is also really helpful if you're fearful or if your horse is fearful or tense or nervous. The more that it just becomes like
it's just a habit.
It's
just a habit.
Then it gets less and less. But if you're not consistent, we all get fearful. If you don't ride for a long time, your horse is not a bicycle. You cannot leave your horse in the garage all winter and take it out in the spring.
Oil it and let's go. It doesn't happen.
Right.
And yes, Karen, the long lining does build strength. Absolutely.
Yeah. But long lining, I will say, as far as groundwork goes, long lining is like the most advanced technique. And so you really want to go like step by step and make sure you can do all the like bending and pull release and then lunging with one line and then working up to long lining. And that's one thing I used to think that horses that I should be able to like teach them to piaffe in hand in a day or a week. And Kensington has really taught me that it takes a long time. Like I've been working with Kensington for 5 years now. And now I'm just able to go piaffe passage.
Yeah, but you've been playing with it the whole time.
Yes. Okay, so those are the top 5 training principles that I talked about 2 days ago. This morning was all about Oh, we have these things. Horses' personality. Which one are you?
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah.
But there's more than two
Are you
personalities.
are you the turtle or the cheetah? Let us know in the chat if your horse is a turtle or a cheetah.
That's a cheetah? Sure it's not a
It's a
tiger?
tiger, but I'm saying it's a cheetah because cheetahs are fast. So slow and fast.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Which is your horse?
My horse?
Yeah.
Cheetah.
All right, I'll be the turtle.
But your horse is not a turtle.
Kensington is more of a turtle than
Well,
your
he's
horse.
shy. He does tuck in. He does tuck into his shell. That's for sure.
Okay, so let us know
Are
in
we
the chat.
wearing these?
Yeah, let us know in the chat because we did hot and laid back was one category, and then the second category was shy and confident. And of course, I'm simplifying, right? Like there's so many different personalities that your horse could have, but it is important that you understand you can't train the cheetah in the same way that you train the turtle, right?
That's the point.
Yes. The other big point I made is that you want to be the thermostat and not the thermometer, meaning that you want to be able to
regulate it.
Slow your cheetah down and speed your turtle up. And that's the hard part.
Yes, it's monumentally difficult.
But I think it's really fun to work with different types of horses, and every horse teaches you something different. Kensington is really tricky because he's super shy. He doesn't have a lot of confidence. And when he was young, especially teaching him the changes, I would get really frustrated because either he wouldn't react to my leg, I would put my leg on and nothing would happen.
Well, there goes Amelia.
If I would correct him, he would panic. He would get like, oh my gosh, like what did I do? And so it was really hard I had to learn to be more patient to help him find that like in between reaction, because it was either nothing or overreaction. And it's still something that I work on with him, but every horse I feel like teaches you something about your own personality. And then they also force you to adapt and change your training techniques based on what they need. Do you have any stories about that? Training a difficult horse?
There was Pee-wee, but
he was the kind of a turtle, wasn't he?
Pee-wee would stand up and rear and hop across the arena.
And he was a stallion.
And he was a stallion.
So what was your training technique? You had to be pretty dominant with Pee-wee.
That was the thing with
because he was confident, right?
He would, because he could just stand on his hind feet
and scare you.
Now he came that way. I mean, I didn't. And he would be totally relaxed and go, I don't want to do this, and just stand up. And he'd look at his hoof, and he'd look at his other hoof, and oh, you're still there. Let's hop. He was unbelievable. Big horse. He was unbelievable.
But it's so interesting.
And so yeah, with him, it was a different thing.
It's so interesting how different their personalities are, and how I think that's one thing that makes the bond with you and your horse really special, is that it's something that takes time. Like it's like any relationship, it takes time to understand your horse's personality and temperament and how you need to interact with your horse. And you can't interact with every single horse the same, because if you got on Kensington and rode it like it was Pee-wee, Kensington
would be on the 118.
Yeah, he would be so scared.
There was Q who got sort of manhandled, and so he was super defensive. So like when you did something new, it would scare him, and he was athletic, man. He would just snap in half and leave. And so there was just really giving him the confidence and yet still being able to make a correction, and that was a fine line.
Yeah. But it also, one thing I talked about today was how personality is a combination of nature and nurture. So some horses just are born a certain way, but if they have a bad experience, that can really change their personalities. But you can also, their personality can change over time. Like as horses get older, they usually get a bit more chill and laid back and more like a turtle.
Yeah.
But it just.
But to answer somebody who, Kyle, Pee-wee did the I-1 at the end.
Yeah. But he was never like he always needed a strong rider.
Right. He wasn't for everybody. Let's say that.
And then they ended up gelding him, which that.
Well, it was the time the the owners at the time when the 2008, when everything tanked, they lost and they had to get rid of him. So.
But after they gelded him, did his personality change?
No, that's who he was by that time.
But anyways, okay, we are going to rearrange our office, and we will see you
in the morning at
8 a.m. Pacific time for our dramatic demonstration
with the saddle. We're going to have a saddle
the
here.
Independent seat. Herman has done his handiwork. He took like a feeder, drilled it on top of the dog crate
so that we
can put the saddle on, and we're hoping that we don't end up on America's Funniest Home
Videos with you flying off head first into the couch.
So I hope I don't fall off in my office tomorrow morning. Maybe I should wear a helmet. Let me know if y'all think I should wear a helmet.
No.
Did you bring home the props from the barn?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. We have some props coming home from the barn, but it should be fun just to help you really understand some details about your rider position, because rider position is everything. Joan said she can't wait. So keep up the good work. Thank you all for participating in boot camp, and we